Hey guys, and welcome to the first call of 2018. Brittney Howard and I are super excited and ready to share with you guys some things that have helped us grow our businesses, as well as some practical things that you can do to grow yourself. And I firmly believe that any of you can be in Hawaii with us this year. But if you're Ruby and above, there is zero excuse. You got this. So anyone, silver, gold, we've had people hit it that fast. It doesn't matter. But rubies, listen up, because you guys can be here and you guys can definitely do that this year.
Yeah, I was Ruby the year that I hit Emerald, this time of the year that I hit Emerald. So definitely go all in. This is the time to really bust tail and get there. The first 2 quarters of the year are the biggest 2 quarters of the year for Plexus and really carry Plexus through the rest of the year. So this is the time that you make a decision, draw your line in the sand, and just decide to go all in and work really hard and put in what it takes, give it all you got, and get there, because you totally can.
Actually, 14 months before I hit Diamond, I hit it in March, but that January before was when I decided I was drawing my line in the sand, and it was like do or die. And the biggest change I noticed within myself was just my passion. There was no stopping me. I was just totally and fully committed to what I was doing. So like Brittney said, the beginning of the year is the most important part of doing Plexus, because we're in the health and wellness industry, and the majority of people's New Year's goals and resolutions are based around either finances or their health, getting fit, or just getting off medications, just improving their health and having a better year than ever. And how else can we have more energy and have a better year than addressing these core issues that Plexus addresses? So super important to take advantage of this. We're kicking off with Super Saturday coming up this Saturday. And also, in case you guys didn't know, convention contest starts January 1st. It's retroactive. And to me, that's like every join we're getting is counting. So I'm doing tons of follow-up and getting on board with all this recruiting for starting in January, just for my personal self. And we're going to talk about some ways to help you do
that. I'm really excited about Super Saturday. So whenever you say that you decided, I don't know, you said you got really passionate all of a sudden and drew your line in the sand. Where did your motivation come from? How did you get so passionate?
My motivation and how we can motivate ourselves would come from your why. Your why has to drive you, and also knowing that your why is going to evolve. If your why was to make $500 or get your products paid for, that could change. You might want to have a full-time income. You might decide that you want to be a diamond. Letting those things drive you and motivate you. Something that one of our uplines, Amber Miller, does with her team is creates a word for the year, like the word growth or change or motivation. So picking a word for yourself will help you. And every time you feel like you need motivation, just remembering what your word is. And I didn't know anything about any of that, but I started with having a song, and the song that spoke to me was Fight Song by Rachel Platten. And whenever I was frustrated, some of you guys have heard this story before, I'm sure, but I was frustrated and I felt like my business wasn't growing like I wanted it to, or it felt like it was too much. It was hard with the kids, and it was hard being a single mom and doing everything myself while growing a business. But I would play the song and I would just listen to the words. Every single word spoke to me, and I knew that I wasn't doing this in vain. Something else that helped motivate me, obviously, was the personal growth. We'll talk about that. But just when you feel a lack of motivation in your business, or you feel frustrated, stay connected. Be plugged in. Team calls like this are what would motivate me. If you don't have a downline yet, you have an upline to look to. If you have a downline, look at these people who are looking up to you. Also, any YouTube calls, videos from successful jewels, those kind of things motivate you, because they're people just like us.
Yeah, the year that I hit Emerald, I didn't realize that I had picked a word for that year, like what you're describing, but that is exactly what I did. And my word was believe, because I had always struggled with belief in myself that I could do this. But I decided that year, that was when I drew my line in the sand, and I just decided that I was going to believe that I could do it. And I had it put on my Erin Condren planner. I even had a necklace from Stella and Dot inscribed with that word believe. And that really was my theme for the year. And I did it. I hit Emerald. I made it to Hawaii. I got my Lexus, all of the perks that come with being a jewel. And that was my theme for the year. So Michelle Stuchel made a really good video about a word of the year. I think she made it yesterday, but that was really good. If you haven't seen that one, check that out. But yeah, so pick a word. What is the word for you? Maybe it is believe. What is it that you really need to work on and focus on? I heard Amanda Goff say her word is growth. Those are all great ideas. So pick something, focus on it, and just make it happen. It's totally up to you, but you can do this.
You're right. I actually did have a word, and mine was stronger. When you talked about the necklace, it made me think of that, but it said stronger on there because I felt weak. I felt like I had been stuck in my business for 18 months prior. I just felt weak, and I had all these kids and all these burdens that I had to do, but I knew that I had to do this for my family. I knew that Plexus was the answer to a lot of things. So I did have a word too. And I think drawing your line in the sand and just deciding. I was listening to some motivational videos tonight, actually, with my kids, and it helped Matthew clean the kitchen. So when you think about Plexus and growing yourself, do it with your kids. It's going to motivate and inspire them too. I see sometimes people are like, I got to watch this video after I put the kids to bed. No, that's when you should be doing your IPA, but include them in this growth journey, and they're going to see you being successful and growing and educating yourself, and they want some of that because they see this passion behind you. So I was listening to this, and they're talking about deciding. Like, the first step to being successful is deciding that you're going to do it. And sometimes we do decide and we don't hit those goals, but you need to aim for the moon, and you're going to land among the stars. Every day when you have the goal to get up on time, if you're working towards it, it may not be perfection, but you're going to hit it eventually. It takes time and growing through these things, but making that a choice. Like, are you all in? And the difference between being all in and half in, when you're all in, it's not going to feel like ho-hum, doing Plexus. I do Plexus. It's like, oh my gosh, every morning I got all these ideas and I can't wait to talk to somebody, upline, downline, sideline. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Or you get off the call and it's just like you can't sleep because you're so excited. And that's what being all in looks like. You kind of eat, sleep, breathe Plexus. It's kind of like being in love. You just can't get someone off your mind. You just can't get Plexus out of your mind. It's just there all the time. With that being said, Brittney, do you want to talk about, like, when you're with your family, be with your family, that kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. So it is hard to get it off of your mind. And sometimes you are going to feel like you are doing Plexus all day long, because it's really tempting to just check your messages constantly, and that can be very addicting. And this business is a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable, really rewarding. And especially when you know that you are changing lives, including your own, and you're blessing your family, and plus you have something of your own, it can be very addicting. But just know that you don't have to work this business all of the time. But if you are really trying to get your business into momentum, it is going to feel like you're working it all the time because you're thinking about it constantly. Like Fallon said, you're going to feel like you fallen in love with someone. You just can't get that person off of your mind. And so even when you're not working, you're thinking about ideas. And I could totally relate to what she just said about, you know, when you wake up, you have all these ideas and you're excited and you're just like, I need to talk to somebody. Sometimes I think I drive my team nuts because I do wake up excited every day and I have all these ideas and it's just like an overflow. And I think sometimes they want me to just like slow down for a second. Chris Holtzclaw does the same thing, but hers is at night. But that's what it looks like to be excited. And that passion comes from your belief. It comes from you believing that you have products on your hands here that are changing people's lives. You have the answer to people's problems. You have an opportunity of a lifetime to offer people. I don't know if you guys watched the Diamonds in December videos, but if you haven't, you should totally go back and check those out. I didn't watch all of them, so I was going to catch up on them tonight, and I started a few of them. I was listening to Rosalind Payne, and she was just talking about how her upline is Celeste Gwynn, of all people, right? And she saw all these people being successful. All of her friends were doing it, and she thought, there's no way in the world that I would do something like that. Until her husband brought it to her attention and was like, look, you know, our son is autistic. He's got this really expensive therapy. We can't afford it. So why not? What are you afraid of? And it clicked in her mind. All of a sudden, she had a why, and her no turned into why not? You know, why not me? And so she jumped all in, and now she's a Diamond ambassador. And she talked about how, you know, the opportunity has changed her family's life because she's not chained to a desk anymore or having to go to a job that she hates. She can work her business while her kids are swimming in the pool and she's enjoying them or whatever. So just know that you have an opportunity to change someone's financial future, and don't drop the ball on the follow-up. But that's where the passion comes from. That's what will get you through the hard things, like whenever once someone tells you no or they're not interested. Sometimes people might even be rude to you. It happens. But if you have that belief that those no's will at some point turn into yeses, then you can get through those hard times. As far as working your business during your business hours, sometimes that's really hard to stick to, but even the President of the United States has business hours, and I'm pretty sure that what he's doing is a little bit more important than what we're doing. And so if he can stick to business hours, we can too. We have to just be intentional about it. And you know how sometimes when you are in college, you know that you're supposed to be studying all the time. Like even if you studied 8 hours that day, you kind of feel guilty for going out with your friends that night or whatever, because you're like, did I study enough? Did I do enough? You know, you're always doubting. Well, we have created this IPA sheet right here. It's called the Daily Routine, and it's in the files of Pink Power Team. Daily Routine. And if you have completed every single line item on that sheet, then you can feel good about what you have put into your business that day. And it's okay to relax. Even though you might still be thinking about Plexus, you're not actually working Plexus. When you're with your family, it's really important that you're present with your family. You don't want your family resenting your business, right? So be present with your family when you're with your family. But when it's time to work, you pull out your sheet and you go line by line and you don't skip any steps. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Did we cover all the other stuff we wanted to talk about?
I mean, it's just kind of things all over the place. I think office hours are really, really important, especially when it's time to pull out your sheet. So I would do your sheet during your office hours. For me, it was 2 to 4 hours a day, closer to 4 as I was Ruby and above. But it was during nap time, and then after the kids went in bed at night. And then I would take like 1 day a week where I was solely focused just on my kids and kind of try to not peek at my phone and see what was going on over there and just play games with them and just play on the floor, just be present with them. But having work hours is so important. Number one, it ensures that even if the kitchen is messy, but it's work hour time, you're going to need to train your 6-year-old to clean the kitchen or wait and hurry up and do that while dinner's cooking. But you have to stop what you're doing and go and work your business. It's so important to not miss out on work time. And it's also important that you're not trying to work while you're screaming at your kids to be quiet. It's so important that you don't feel like Plexus is interrupting your life and you're becoming a bad mom. You might be a different mom. You might spend an hour less with them and more time on your business, but you're going to take them to Hawaii. You're going to teach them work ethic. You're going to teach them discipline, all of these things. So it's not a bad thing at all. And Celeste has some videos about all of that too, and how our kids have just thanked her for working hard and teaching them these things. So it's a good thing, but you want to make sure you dedicate your all to whatever you're being all in. And then for me, having a planner was like key. If you write down your goals and everything that you want to do in a day, even as far as like laundry or making bread, because I have to get out of the house early in the morning, if you write things down, you're 50% more likely to accomplish those things. So write things down, the people that you want to contact, whatever it is that you want to do. And then even on this sheet, Brittney might talk about this a little bit later, but the 5 contacts that you want to make, I do this stuff the day before. Write down what you want to do the day before, so when it comes time to work, don't do it. So I would think in the shower, I'd be thinking like, what do I want to do the next day? And when I get out, I'd write it down on my IPA sheet. And then the next day I'd go to bed thinking about everything I'm grateful for, trying not to think too much about Plexus and what I want to do the next day. And then the next day, just get right to it. It takes away that trying to think when you should be working. So anything there?
Nope, I think you covered that all. Good stuff. I like how you think in the shower.
It's like my me time.
I got toddlers in the shower with me, girl. We're singing Let It Go in the shower.
Oh, girl, nobody's in my shower. And I would say before we start talking more about the sheet here and the things on it, consistency is so important. I've asked Lori before, like, so-and-so has so much influence and so many friends and they look like they could be a diamond. Why are they not ranking up, or why are they where they're at? And she said, every time I've asked her, one word, it's consistency. They're not consistent. There's so many reasons to be consistent. When you get the snowball rolling, like, you don't want to stop it. You want to keep it going, and getting it going is the hardest part. But what you're doing, whether you realize it or not, is you're creating momentum. And momentum is when everything is easy and the snowball is just collecting so much snow, AKA new ambassadors and joins and recruits, that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Like, where are all these people coming from? How are they joining my team? But you created that momentum. And the only way to do that is through consistency every day, 2 to 4 hours a day, unless you are literally dead. Because a lot of times we're not going to want to do it. You're not going to want to, and you'll talk yourself out of it. I hired a trainer so I can stop talking myself out of working out, because there's always more bathrooms to clean. There's always more laundry to fold, but it was important. So that's why office hours are important again, but do it consistently.
You have to be consistent with anything to be super successful at it. It's just like working out or eating healthy or having a solid marriage or homeschooling your kids. If you're not consistent with it, then you're just not going to see the results that you want. You're definitely not going to create momentum if you don't have consistency with your IPA, with your posting on Facebook, with everything that's on this sheet, honestly. And we're going to talk more about that. But consistency is absolutely the key to creating momentum and growing your business.
Yes. So you ready to talk about the sheet? I think we got everything else covered.
Yeah, so you can print these out. Just go ahead and print out 20 or 30 of them and put them in a binder. That way you can look back and see what you have actually done and who you're talking to, so you don't forget anybody. But basically, it covers all the bases. And it has your IPA, it has your, following up with people that you have already had join you, making sure they get great results. It has following up with white lines. It has posting on Facebook. It has building relationships with people on Facebook. It has 3-way calls and 3-way chats. It has coaching calls. It has your personal growth. It has your professional growth, like learning the skills and stuff like that. Checking your back office, which we're going to elaborate on, and being a leader in your team page, posting in there, welcoming new joins. So it covers every single base. If you were to take this sheet and you were to complete one every single day in 2018 with maybe 1 day a week off, I don't see how you could not be a jewel. And when people have been working well and they're not a jewel yet, it's because they're skipping steps. They're skipping something that is important, whether it be coaching their team, or maybe they do coach their team, but they're in management mode and they're not doing their IPA. Maybe they're doing both of those, but they're not doing their personal growth. You cannot skip any steps on this sheet if you want a jewel business, okay? You have to do every single step every single day consistently. And I timed myself today when I sat down to do my sheet. It took me about 2 hours, not including the phone calls. So all the IPA and the Facebook stuff, it took about 2 hours. And then if a coaching call takes about 30 minutes, give or take, a three-way call takes less than 30 minutes, and personal growth takes me, well, I would put way more into it if I could, but at least 30 minutes. You need minimum 30 minutes a day of, or one chapter a day or whatever, but you have to do it. And professional growth, that's watching a training video or reading a network marketing book, something that's going to help you learn this industry, learn more about the products, learn more about how to become a better ambassador or how to become a better leader or whatever. That's professional growth. And so, you can find a 10-minute video or 30-minute video. And those are things that you can fit in the nooks and crannies. I got my professional growth in tonight. I was watching those Diamonds in December videos while I was putting my makeup on. So you can multitask with things like that. But when it's time to do IPA, like reach out to your new contacts and follow up with people, that is not nooks and crannies. That is, I'm going to sit down and work my business right now. Okay. What do you want to add to that, Val?
Yeah, for me as a mom with all my kids at home, and Brittany too, it's like, what can I do while my kids are awake and what can I do while they're asleep? That's how I divide up my work. And definitely the computer work, that just anything that requires your thinking is going to benefit that. And they're not going to sit there and stare at me while I write messages, but they can listen to an audiobook with me. So I tend to do those things with them, like during breakfast, legit. They know who Sonia Dudley and Sarah Marble are and all these people. And they'll ask. They'll see them on calls and stuff. So they know who you guys are too. So that's just really important to me, just how to divide your day up. And then what to do while you fold laundry, stuff like that. But do you want to start going through each one of these in detail here? About contacts?
Yeah. So making 5 new contacts, that is starting 5 new conversations about Plexus. Reaching out to 5 people about Plexus that you've never talked to about Plexus before. And I have a good first message formula. When Fallon starts talking, I'll type that in the chat. But follow up, that is following up with 3 people that you have already talked to about Plexus. And there's tons of training videos on follow up, because that's really, really important. You cannot drop the ball on the follow-up. Most people are not going to join you the first time they hear about Plexus. They're not even going to join you after the 5th time you talk to them about Plexus. The average is 8 to 12. And so most people give up way too easily, and that's why you see some people who are great recruiters and some people who are not, because the people who are great recruiters are great at follow-up. So that's really important. Do you have anything to say about new contacts and follow-up?
We always said the fortune's in the follow-up, and I believe it. And when we hear things like that from network marketing experts, we just believe it. Okay, follow-up must be important just based on that sentence. And I would say just the 5 new contacts. Some people don't start off with a big base of anybody that they can contact. And there's a couple ways you can do it. You can just start friending people or following people on Instagram and just randomly cold messaging people. Rhonda Shaw had a video about just building relationships and contacting people just to build relationships. But the hesitation with that is don't get stuck in building relationship mode that you're going on longer than 2 weeks. If you don't have anybody whatsoever, no relationships at all, you have 50 friends on Facebook and you're trying to grow this, you're going to want to be friending 10 people a day, joining groups that you love. And this was me. This is what I had to do. Join groups of things that I'm interested in, post in there, friend everybody who comments, and then build relationships for about 2 weeks. Don't just hit them with a message. Like, I get that all the time from people they don't know. Build relationships, genuinely care, but don't do that for 6 months and think, I'm building relationships. No, you want to keep it short and sweet and then head on into Plexus and keep that on a rotating schedule. That was all for those 2.
A timeline there. That's really important. Let me mute
Above that.
everybody. Hang on.
Everyone will be able to see you.
I got it.
Okay. Yeah, so what were you saying? I lost my train of thought.
I don't know.
Oh, the timeline, 2 weeks. Yeah, so 2 weeks. I actually had that question the other day. So I'm glad you said that. So it doesn't take that long. When we say build relationships, we don't mean you have to know their life story and be best friends. We just mean you have to build some rapport with them. Like they need to like you and you like them, right? That's what it means to build relationships. Build trust with people and just be a friend. And that doesn't take long. I mean, just imagine if you were to meet somebody at a party. Would it take 2 weeks of you talking to that person for you to become friends with them? No. I mean, you can figure out pretty quickly, if you have something to talk to somebody about or not. So build relationships and be a friend. And that's actually on here at the bottom. Add 3 friends every single day. But you need to be starting conversations with people every day about Plexus. So adding friends and expanding your network, that's not the same thing as talking to them about Plexus. You have to do both. Because if you're talking to everybody about Plexus, but you're not adding new friends, then you're going to run out of people to talk to at some point. And we don't want that to happen. That's not a fun place to be in. So both are important. Like I said, you don't skip any steps. And both of those are on here. So new contacts, add new friends, follow up with prospects. And then the other thing is get in touch with one customer or wholesaler. So basically somebody who is a product user, but they're not working the business yet. You follow up with at least one of those every single day to make sure that they are getting great results on their products, that they're drinking all their water, that they are, that their backup order is on, that they are getting the results that they want to see. So you just check in with them and do any troubleshooting or help them through the detox or whatever. And then reach out to one inactive customer or ambassador every day. So these would be your white lines. We don't spend a lot of time looking back, but we don't just leave people hanging either, because a lot of times people come back. I mean, a lot of times they do. So don't just leave them hanging or neglect that relationship. Definitely keep the relationship going and follow up with them. This is a perfect time to follow up with every white line in your back office. Every single one of them, even if they're not your level one. If you have a level one that you know is not following up with their people, you need to follow up with them, because this is when people are starting to take their health seriously, okay? So follow up with all your white lines, just at least one every day. Today I followed up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 white lines, and tomorrow I'll probably do about the same until eventually I go through all of them. But really I spend the most time on my income producing activity, okay? And then the next thing, you have anything to say about white lines, pal?
No, I mean, the biggest thing is to not let people turn into a white line. That's
Yeah,
the most important thing.
Yeah, so if you are reaching out to them all the time, like the first line says, contact your wholesalers and your customers, make sure they're getting great results and things like that, then that will reduce the number of white lines, okay? But everybody has white lines. You can't really prevent it. You just don't want more than 30% white lines. If you have more than 30% attrition, we need to figure out what the problem is, okay? Social media posting. So 2 to 3 posts every single day. We're looking for quality posts and consistent posts. You have to be consistent. And Jennifer Leith talked about this in her Diamonds in December video. It was really good. But we don't want your whole entire timeline to become nothing but Plexus. And there's plenty of training videos in Pink Power Team about branding and how to effectively post on social media without being salesy. But just be consistent with that.
Yeah, I think the key with the social media is just attraction marketing. That's the most important thing. Is we're not salespeople, we're attracting people to us like a magnet. So when you're looking at your wall, and I won't go into too much detail because we like to talk about this on calls and we have lots, like Brittney said, but you want to look at your wall like an outsider would. What would you think if you were a stranger looking at your own wall? Just look at it from a different perspective. Is this someone that I would want to follow? Pictures are the biggest thing. I think your pictures need to be clear, and just invest 30 minutes this week to learn how to take good pictures, and even writing. And I think writing posts, just reading other Diamonds posts and seeing how they do it, is really important. So, and then Brittney, you said that the list of things to, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You said the list of things to do are in order of importance on here, right?
Yes, for the most part. Some of it at the bottom, they're all kind of equally important. But if you had an extremely busy day and say you sat down to do your work, but you only had an hour or 2 hours instead of 3, and you only made it through half of the sheet, then you at least got most of the most important stuff done. So, and Christine brought something up I wanted to touch on. Thank you, Christine, for saying that. But as far as white lines are concerned, this is a perfect time to reach out to them because we have the Fit Squad that just came out, and Plexus is doing a huge $5,000 giveaway. So you can reach out about that. Also, for ambassadors, they're getting free shipping for the next 3 months. That's a big deal. And so that's another reason to reach out to people, and preferred customers get free shipping too. So yeah, branding, super important. Fallon's really good at it, but your posts really need to add value. You don't want to pitch your friends all the time. Your friends don't want to be sold to. So focus on adding value. If somebody was not friends with you, what reason would they have to follow your posts? What value are you adding? You really need to think about that. So add value. All right, things to do at the bottom. 3-way calls or 3-way chats and coaching calls, they really probably should be closer to the top of this page because, I mean, you can get paid off your own efforts, or you can get paid off of 100 people's efforts, 1,000 people's efforts, right? And you're going to do that. You're going to multiply your efforts by teaching other people to do exactly what you're doing. And that doesn't mean you can get into management mode and neglect your IPA, because you should always be focusing on growing your personal business as well. But you have to grow a team. And the way you do that is by being on the phone. Don't think you can train your team through text messages. You can do a little bit, but you cannot effectively train someone through a text message, not even a voice message, okay? You have to be on the phone. 3-way calls are super effective. I built my entire business on 3-way calls, doing those for my team, my level ones. They have a prospect. They get them on the phone with me. I do the same. If I have a prospect, I'm getting them on the phone with Fallon. The point is not that I know more than my level 1 or that Fallon knows more than me. It's third-party validation, and that's extremely important in this business. You need 3-way calls and 3-way chats with prospects, okay? So that checkbox right there that says 3-way calls, that's either a prospect you're taking to your upline, or that's you are talking to a prospect for someone in your downline, okay? Coaching calls, extremely important. You have to train your team, and this is how you do it. If you're Ruby or above, you probably need to do more than 1 coaching call a day. Fallon, I know you have a lot to say about coaching calls.
Hopefully I didn't look like I did, and hopefully that's just because you know that I do. But I think coaching calls and personal development are 2 of the things that I see people skipping that are so vital to your business. It kills me when somebody's skipping them. Even if you're afraid to get on the phone. Look, y'all, I couldn't even order my food from Arby's. I had to have my sister do it. I couldn't call the dentist or anything. I was so petrified of the phone and talking to people. So if I can do coaching calls, it's my favorite thing to do because it is the most effective thing. Y'all can be doing them. Don't think that you don't have time or that you don't know what to say. The best way to get involved in a coaching call is when a level 1 asks you a question, you call them. It's so simple. You call them and answer their question. It's that easy. A coaching call doesn't have to be like every Thursday I'm going to do 30-minute calls with these people, etc. It's more like, oh, she's got a question. Let me answer it. And then the question leads into another question, and another question, another question. And then it leads into you training that person. Another thing that is good to do is to do coaching calls not just with your level 1s, but with a level 2 that has great potential, and let your level 1 sit there and listen while you coach the level 2, because you're coaching 2 people at once, basically, because they're listening and learning, and they're learning how to coach. So if it's something that's intimidating to you, don't let it be intimidating. It's really building a relationship with someone. And some of the strongest teams that I see on my team are people who are having relationships. And if you're not in person, you're not at Bible study, you're not at MOPS together, you're not at church together, you need to be on the phone. But these girls that go out to lunch and they have fun together, they have strong teams because they're talking, they're communicating on a different level that's not through texting. And I am definitely a big texter for sure. But back and forth voice messages, if it goes on for 4 or 5 messages, I'm calling that person. I don't have time to listen to your voice message. Let's talk here. It's quicker too. It actually is quicker. And driving down the road, like getting on the call, that's when Lori will talk to me. She's on the road. I said I need to talk to her, and that's when we'll talk. So yeah, anything else that you have on coaching calls?
Yeah, that's another thing you can do, nooks and crannies, because that's not something you have to sit down and focus on. Sometimes I do. Like if I'm trying to help somebody crunch numbers and stuff like that, and we got to get in the back office, obviously you have to sit there and focus on that. But a lot of times these are things you can do while you're riding down the road, or while you're, cleaning your bathroom, or whatever the case may be. You can be doing a coaching call while you are doing things that don't require your full attention.
And the important thing with the coaching call too is if coaching calls are mostly for building belief in them. So when somebody says they can't recruit, I try to get down to the bottom of like, why aren't people joining you? It's not a, here's a step-by-step what to do. I tag after every coaching call, my level 1 in videos. And I let the video do the training and the teaching. I'm not doing that on a coaching call. I have to write down exactly what it is that I do, but it's just a lot of building the relationship and building belief in them and helping them when they feel down and encouraging them. And there is some answering questions, but if there's a video made about it, I'm not going to repeat myself unless they've watched the video and they're still struggling, or they're just not getting it. But we want to duplicate things. So tagging them in videos, especially the videos with 200 and 300 comments, those are key ones that all your new people need to be tagged in.
Mm-hmm. You can tell when somebody is coaching their team because you'll look through the team page and you'll see old training videos bumped up to the top from where people are being tagged in training videos, because that really is how you train your team. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know where to find everything, right? You don't have to be some expert or whatever. You just need to be interested in people. Be interested in your team. Take a vested interest in their success. Ask them questions. How's it going? What are you most excited about right now? What's the biggest challenge you're facing? Those types of questions really get people to open up and, like Fallon said, help you get to the root of the problem. Because if they're telling you my why is to be in Hawaii, but they're not doing their IPA, or they are doing their IPA and they can't recruit, then there's something holding them back. Something is, and you really got to kind of dig and figure out what that is. And
again, if you're struggling with this or any area in your business, I feel like the best way to grow a business is kind of the job shadow. Just like our kids, how do they learn to put the meat in the refrigerator after dinner? Because they watched us do it. I don't have to tell my kids every little thing to do. They know that the Tide Pods goes in the washing machine. You push this, and this button because they're watching. So if you don't take someone under your wing, if your sponsor hasn't done that with you already, feel free to reach up to them and be like, hey, can I listen in on some coaching calls? Can I do, basically like get as close to you as you can, even if it's long distance, just to watch what you do, hear the words that you say. I always felt like in my business, if I could just be with Jewel and watch what they do every day, then I could figure out what I needed to do if I could just say what they're saying. So don't leave someone struggling there. Just saying, yep, do coaching calls, get them there with you. And then when you are on listening to your sponsor, share their story with the prospect or whatever, pay attention. If it's not your 25th time on the call, like just be there and listen to what they're saying. I know Brittney's team because Brittney's team sounds like Brittney. They're listening, they're paying attention, and nothing makes me happier than to see my own team saying the things I'm like, she's taking this right from the coaching call. Like they're listening. This is good. This is a good sign. Yes, Christine, I think maybe I learned from watching. I think a lot of people learn from watching. So that's really important.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people are probably wondering this right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask this. How do you determine, especially if you have a limited amount of time, how do you determine who you're getting on the phone with?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if someone's throwing the ball to me, I will throw it back. If someone's struggling in their business and they're coachable, I'll get on the phone with them. If it's a newer level, and obviously I'm a diamond, but if I know how to help them, I'll just help them while I'm on a bike ride, or I'll get on the phone with them. As long as someone's working the business. And honestly, how I decide ultimately who to get on the phone with, if they're making me money or have potential to make me money, I'll get on the phone. And I'm just gonna be point blank, because y'all are just business builders here. And this is a business. If it's not benefiting my family financially and I'm taking from them to pour into something, when someone's not coachable, when they're not listening, when they're not working, when they're full of excuses, I don't got time for that. So when people are being coached and they keep making excuses and they're not doing it, I've had several level ones tell their people, I feel like I want this more for you than you do for yourself. I'll be here when you're ready. And then let them go. Just let them go do their thing. And I put those people on the personal growth track. And I'm like, coaching calls are great, but book club, you need the book club. You're not listening to me. You're going to get it from a book because you don't want to listen to me. And then another way I know how to get on a call with someone is from Facebook. I have several level 3s and 4s that I've gotten on the phone with, because we do want to train our level 1s, but it's not just a level 1. You want to get on the phone with people who have potential, because when your level 1 is successful because they're going up in rank because you talked to a level 3 and 4 and built belief in them and inspired them in a different way, that's going to boost their business. But at the same time, when you start offering coaching calls, some people will want you on with everyone, and the way to judge is to get on their Facebook. And that's a teaching lesson again in and of itself. Like, is this person worthy of our time? Do they have potential? Or do they need to work on a few things and get them up to par before I can really help them along in their business? So
yeah, and I don't think there's any shame in you saying that, if they're making you money, then you invest your time there, because like you said, you are taking time away from your family to do this, and this is not a charity. It is a business. We can't just give our time away to everybody, especially as a diamond, or even as a jewel, or even as a ruby. I mean, you just had too many people on your team to really truly invest in every single person that is not producing. You just can't do that. You can't run a business that way. So that is an important question. I know a lot of people were thinking that. Okay, the next thing is personal growth. And I tell people all the time that this business is kind of like an airplane. There's 2 major parts. There's an engine and there's the wings. If you're missing one or the other, you're just not gonna fly, right? If you have an engine but no wings, you can get far down the runway, but you're not gonna gain any height. And if you have wings but no engine, you're not going anywhere, period. Okay, so in this business, IPA is your engine. Personal growth are your wings. And so if you are doing your IPA consistently, you're going to get pretty far down the runway, but your business is not going to create any depth. You're not going to have any depth or height in your organization. So you need both. You have to have both. And if you're doing your personal growth, but you're not doing IPA, you're just sitting on the couch reading a book. That's all you're doing. You're not making any money. So you have to have both. You need your wings. You need your engine. Don't neglect your personal growth. You will not find a diamond who says, oh, I just got there by doing IPA all the time, and I didn't have to develop myself as a person, because there's not one. Okay, you have to do personal development, and that means become a better person, become a better you. There's some area in your life that you struggle with, whether it's self-discipline or integrity or caring about people or whatever the case may be. We all have some kind of struggle that we deal with that we have to work on and get better at. And for every new level in your business, it's going to require a new version of you. If you're feeling stuck, it's because either you're not doing your IPA or you're not doing your personal growth, okay? You need both.
So Sonia Dudley and Helen McFadden, I'm Sonia's level 7. So way up in our upline, they had a blog, and I don't know if they still do or not. I haven't looked recently, but in their blog, they said, Sonia wrote a post about personal growth, and she said that if your business isn't growing, You need to work more on growing yourself than you do on your business, and your business is going to grow. You, like Brittney said, you can't have one without the other. But so many times we focus on IPA, which is so important. That is the only income producing activity in your business. But when I heard that you're going to get stuck if you're not developing yourself, I thought logically, okay, I don't want to get stuck. So let me grow and learn as much as I can. And that's what I tell people while they're stuck and while they don't have a team. Don't get frustrated because you don't have any workers yet. Enough of that. Work on yourself and the workers will come. You're going to have what it takes to develop people into workers. So don't sit there focusing on what you don't have. Focus on this time freedom that you do have, because as a diamond, I can't read 5 chapters a day. I'm doing coaching calls with all these different people, and I love it. But you guys have to develop yourself. So when you have the team, when you have the leaders to lead, you're going to be ready and know what to do with them, because it's not great. And you should look at this with your downline. For someone who isn't ready and they've signed up a really strong leader, you've got to step in and lead that person if that level 1 is not ready. And that's one of the most important things that I've done with my business. And I don't know if I'd be diamond today if I didn't help those lower levels, because a level 1 wasn't ready. But definitely strive to get them and yourself ready for that leadership role before it's necessary to take it on. I think that's something that's really important.
Yes, absolutely agree. Okay, the next thing is professional growth, which is learning the skills of this industry. You have to spend time there every day. I mean, I still do every day. And you'll hear a lot of the diamonds say that, oh, when I just first started, I just couldn't stop watching all the videos. And that's a common trait. And so you have to learn the skills. You have to think of, the Monday night calls and the book clubs and watching training videos and stuff like that. Like if you were in college and you were going to learn how to be a brain surgeon, which is about what the same income that diamonds make, the income of a brain surgeon. Imagine what you would have to learn before you could make a dime as a brain surgeon. Okay, you'd have to go to school for at least 8 years at least. You'd probably accumulate lots and lots of student loan debt and things like that before you could make any money at all. With this business, it's not like that, but you do have to learn. Okay, you don't have to learn for 8 years before you make money, but you do have to. It's a learn as you earn business, but you can't neglect that part. You cannot skip this step, because most people are not naturals at this, at network marketing, at recruiting, at following up, at leading. I mean, these are things that you have to learn and get really good at. And the good news is anybody can learn. Anybody can learn how to do this business, how to become a good leader, things like that. So the hardest part, Val and I were talking about this earlier, the hardest part of this business is the beginning, just getting it going. They say that silver and gold are the hardest ranks to hit. And so if you can get the ball rolling, find your workers, then it gets easier from there. But you can learn the skills, and you must learn the skills. Being on the Monday night calls, non-negotiable. If you're saying you want to be a jewel in this company and we don't see you on Monday night calls, we're not going to take you seriously. If you say you want to be a jewel in the company and you're not doing the book studies, that is like your college textbooks. Like, you have to have them. You need to be learning this industry and learning and growing all the time. So professional growth, learn the skills of the business.
Yep, watching videos, watching everything in the team page. Nothing frustrates me more than a level 1 who says that they don't know what's going on. I'm like, there's a team page right there. Like, I would wake up and I would look in the team page and I would see like what's going on. And did Lori post something? Did Kristen post something? Like, what's happening? What do I need to learn and hear from them today? And Amber Miller and all these people. So it's so important that you're in there and learning everything. And we put stuff in there for you guys. It's not just for us. So that's where to go to run your business.
Yeah, and also when we put things in the team page, it's because it's added value to us. Like if we watch a video and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so good, and we're sharing it, you need to watch it. It was good, and then we learned something from it, and so you're going to learn something from it too. Or the same thing with like written out posts or whatever. So the next one is check the back office. What do you want to say about that? You were talking about that earlier.
I think people need to not be afraid of your back office, okay? It's your office. Like, you might have a desk or you might have the kitchen table, but that is your office, your back office. Now, you don't want to spend all day refreshing, seeing if you got a new join or not. That's not what it's for. It's also not something to be afraid of. It's something to help you analyze and look and see where you can improve. It's also how I notice rock stars up and coming. It's like, oh my gosh, who is this person and how did they hit silver in a day? We might want to check out her Facebook page, find out who her sponsor is, and get on a call with her. So that's important to look for, is people who are just kicking, just really going in their business. And then also looking for backup orders. Something that we make sure of is everyone comes in with a welcome pack. Triplex added X Factor is great, and someone with their subscription on. A selling point for getting someone's subscription on is turn this on so you can have free shipping. When they get free shipping, they can add more products on. They can basically like get their multivitamin half off kind of thing. So that gets them more product and more chances of getting results faster and feeling better. So having their backup order on and set to 130, it's really important. And also, just if somebody doesn't, like contacting the sponsor. Hey girl, notice a couple people came in without their welcome packs. And then, making sure they get on it and tell the people like, girl, this is why you need it, that kind of thing. So those are the things that I look for. Also, if you are gold or above and you have some strong legs, looking and seeing where the growth is at. And if you see any trends, looking for trends. A certain leg has everybody with their backup order on. Ask her, what are you doing? This is amazing. Really build them up, encourage them. If somebody's struggling with that and people are quitting, they're not reordering, that person's struggling with that. So you can see a lot of trends with different downlines. So that's good.
Yeah, and it's really important that you're checking to make sure every join has a subscription on. Because a lot of times the sponsor doesn't realize it's not on, or the person themselves, they don't realize that it's not on. And if people are coming, if you're recruiting really well, but all the people you're recruiting are not coming in with a subscription on, you're not building a business. Congratulations, you just got yourself a couple of retail customers. One-time order, because most people are not going to reorder if that subscription is not on. And Amber Miller said that if her subscription had not been on, she would not be a diamond ambassador in this company. So you're really cheating that person out of success with their products and their health, or with an opportunity that could change their life if they don't have a subscription on. Subscriptions are extremely important. Don't skip that step. You have to check and make sure. And this is one area where it's okay to kind of get into management mode, because you need to take this very seriously. This is what is going to build your business. Your people have to have subscriptions on. If they're not going to have a subscription on, they may as well just be a customer. Subscriptions have to be on. All right, and we're running short on time, so we'll just kind of run through the last couple of points. Develop Facebook relationships. That, again, add 3 friends every day. Make those connections, expand your network, and there's plenty of training about where to find people on Facebook. Comment on your top potentials list. I have my friends list divided into actual lists, and there's a video about how to do that too, but I have a Plexus people friends list that all my Plexus people are on there. I have a my team list that I spend time in every day. When you're in that list, it'll show you only posts from the people that are in that list. So if I'm in my team list, it's only showing me posts of people who are on my team. That way I can support their businesses and comment on their posts. And then I have a non-Plexus list of people that I know are not Plexus people, and that is the most important list to spend time in every day, because you have to be building relationships with people. And then wish your friends a happy birthday on Facebook. All those are good things to do every single day to build those relationships and expand your network. And then post on your team page and welcome new joins every day. All right, that's it for the sheet. Do you have anything else to add to that, Helen?
Yeah, I'm going to add to the very last point, posting on team pages and welcoming people. You guys, it's so important. If I'm saying it's so important, it really is so important. If you're gold and above, you need to make a video at least once a week in order to be successful, unless you get lucky, which some people do. But the majority of the time, you have to be showing your team that you're a leader. If it's scary, it's okay. These videos I was watching for motivation just tonight with my kids, they talk like, don't be afraid to fall. You're never going to get better if you don't start at the very bottom. Your videos might suck at the beginning, and that's okay. Mine did. And I got to diamond on these videos. They're way better now. At least I hope so, and I've been told that they are. But you're going to start at the bottom, and that is okay. Your team wants to see your face. There's nothing worse than being added to a team page where you don't even see your sponsor welcoming and participating. They're going to feel a connection to that team page, which is going to spark, most likely, the idea of growing the business. This is where a lot of people catch the vision. That's why we put all wholesale ambassadors into the team page. But they're going to catch that vision by seeing you doing and posting in there. That's how they get notified. Then they go through and they scroll and they see their rank ups and they see the lives changed, all of these things. So you guys need to be doing that. It's really important. If you need help on your coaching call, ask your sponsor. If you're the sponsor doing the coaching call, suggest things. Stop them like, girl, all your people are getting welcome packs. What do you say to people? Build them up. It's also going to build the leader up as a leader. They're going to feel better about themselves and their business if they feel like they're doing something right. And a lot of times a newly emerging leader, they get comments and they're like, wow, people like what I have to say. And it's an eye-opening moment for them. And then they start doing it more and they grow in their confidence. And there's so many things. I could go on and on because it's really, really, really important that you guys are doing that. Golden above, no excuse. Got to be making videos. Welcomes. It's not just a welcome. You're adding value. When you add value, people are going to add value back to you, and your team's going to see you adding value and participating again. So every day I tell people, take 3 minutes and go welcome everybody. It makes your team page. It's your team page. It's not my team page. It's not Brittney's team page. It's your team page. It makes your team page look like the happening place to be. If you're a new ambassador, where would you want to get added? Into a group with 3 welcomes or into a group with 50? You're going to be like, wow, those 5,000 people in that group, they're actually doing something. They're not just sitting there. So the more comments, the better.
Yeah, that really is how you set yourself up as a leader for your team. Even if you just have one person on your team, or if you're a silver, gold, doesn't matter. That is how you set yourself up as a leader and get recognized as a leader, is by posting in your team page and adding value to people, and not only the people that are in your downline, because you need to be adding value to every single person around you. That adds credibility to you as a leader. When other people, besides people that are in your downline, are looking to you as a leader, and not just your own team, but everybody's team, it just adds validity to the things that you say and adds credibility to you as a leader. So that's really important.
I can tell you right now, as a strong leader looking for more leaders, when I see somebody post in the team page and they're doing it regularly, or when I see somebody welcoming, I look for that person and I will message them, and I will stalk your Facebook wall, and I will probably try and get on a phone call with you. You guys should be taking note of those people too, taking initiative, because they're probably a strong leader, and there's somebody that you want to get connected to another strong leader, because they want success and they're probably capable of being a level 5 leader because it's just natural for them. So I look for all of those things. Yeah, and it's really impressive. If you want to be a leader in this company, if you want to be a diamond, if you are one of those types who wants to be on the calls and you want to be speaking, that's what you need to be doing. You need to be getting the eye of other leaders, so we know, like, hey, who is this person? This is great. Let's get them involved. If you want to be involved, do these things. And even if you don't want to be involved to that level, we're not going to make you do more calls. But like we said, your team still needs to see you there.
Yes. So 2018 is going to be a phenomenal year. It's time to draw your line in the sand. This is a fresh start. No matter where you are at in your business right now, it does not matter. It's time to jump in, make a decision, draw your line in the sand. Don't look back. We've got several phenomenal events coming up. Super Saturday is this weekend. We'll see a lot of you there. Convention. Did you talk about convention, Pal? I know you wanted to touch on that.
Oh my gosh, you guys, Brittney and I, some of the leaders were like, we're just going to take the new year off. And Brittney and I both contacted each other. We're like, we want to do a call. So we could probably talk on late about all of these things. But when convention is announced, they might do it at Super Saturday. You guys have got to get your teams there. I don't think I'd be a diamond today if I did not go to convention and see diamonds on the stage saying that anybody could do this. Like, I got chills. I'm like, oh my gosh, anybody? Well, I mean, that's me. Like, I couldn't afford to go, y'all. We were still broke for my first convention. And I had to take hot dogs and a loaf of bread, and that's all I ate. And Brittney mentioned that tonight. I also was breastfeeding, so I had to get a pump, and I was pumping in between sessions, and it was crazy. And I made it work, though. I couldn't afford all the extra things, but several of us roomed together, and we made it happen. Also, it's a tax deduction and it's a business write-off, but you can't afford to miss it. There's nothing more powerful. And y'all, it's like 6 months away, but I am so geeked about it. I'm like, I'm so excited for convention because the energy, just being there for 3 years, like I can feel it now, being in the room with all these people, seeing everyone on stage, watching your jewel upline, watching these diamonds on the stage. It's so surreal. It's amazing. Plus, there's all the contests, and you can win fancy dinners, and that's totally attainable. I did that as a gold. So anybody can do any of that. So that's all I wanted to say about convention. Was that what you just asked me to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, I mainly wanted them to hear the amount of sacrifice that you had to do to get there because your business was a priority to you. And like you said, you wouldn't be a diamond if you hadn't done it. But you had to start. It wasn't easy. It was not easy for you to get there. It's not cheap. I mean, you got to buy your plane ticket and your convention ticket and stuff. But like you said, you took hot dogs. People were laughing at you. We still poke fun at you about your hot dogs. But you know what? You're a diamond. And you made it a priority. It's important. You need to get there.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say something because we were talking about team pages, and then we can close if you want, Brittney. But like Cody made a point. If you're trying to be a good leader, that doesn't mean go start your own team page. And I was actually thinking tonight that I need to make a video about this because you don't want a little team page with 2 comments again, and that's the main place where your people see you posting and they see you active. So when I first started my business, this was 4 years ago, but I created my own team page. Nobody knew what they're doing. Now there's like 5 diamonds leading one team page, and they all closed down their other ones. So things are totally different now that we've learned what works and what doesn't. So I created my own team page, but when I drew my line in the sand and I really started working my business how I should, and it exploded, Cody probably remembers this, but I was posting and tagging in the big team page because my page was just this little page with nothing going on. So don't start your own team page and don't think about it until you're a jewel or beyond. We have several jewels leading one team page, even my own. There's multiple ones of us. It's so important that you have that big kind of convention feel to your team page. Being a strong leader does not mean you're the only one posting videos on one page and everyone's following you. You want to expose your team to as many strong leaders and jewels as possible. So staying connected to your jewel uplines page is the best and the smartest thing that you can do for your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and anything that you do to take away from your team page, like if you're putting training videos in chats, or instead of the team page or something like that, or if you're going and making your own team page, anything you're doing that's pulling your team away from the team page and instead of keeping them plugged into it every single day is hurting your business. You might think that it's helping, but it's not. It's hurting. And we want momentum creators, not momentum killers. Going and making your own team page before you're a jewel, that's a momentum killer. Don't do it.
Yeah, and if you want creative ideas and what to do with like your team so you can build that camaraderie, I mean, a Zoom once a month just to hang out and chit chat, not to sit and train them, but to just talk. Have a couple fun topics like get to know you kind of things. That's the best way to build that camaraderie. Going to Super Saturday and getting a group of you guys together. That's something that's important too. Rooming together at convention. So there's so many ways to get your team connected and plugged in without doing your own team calls, without doing your own team page. And I see a lot of comments here, and I know Brittney and other Jules would say, it's a lot of work to run a team page. You guys need to be doing your IPA, hitting silver every month, not worrying about managing one more thing. So just something we've learned from other Jules and from our own experiences. But that's it. That's all I have. I could talk all night, so maybe I'll make some videos tonight.
All right. Happy 2018, everybody. It's going to be a great year. Cannot wait to see what God has in store for us and what Plexus has in store for us this year. Print out your daily routine sheets from the files section of the team page, and let's get to work. Let's make it happen, and we'll see a lot of you guys in Hawaii.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.